being the fastest quarterback you've never seen. I'll be right back. There's no quicker way to get into DFS. Play Super Draft today and see for yourself.
We're behind. They're all fired up. What we got to do? First place, our defense has got to go out there and take the ball. Then when we get the ball, we got to have 11 people that's going to do their job and try to score every time you get the football. If we do that, we'll be all right. Do that, we'll be all right.
You know,
Here we go.
I say it every Thursday. I say it again. If you want that smoke, you came to the right place. And Jimbo, you obviously want that smoke. Ladies and gentlemen, we got the one and only from around the table. Say hello.
Hey, how is everybody this
No,
evening?
you're not gonna say hello?
Well, you
Can
broke
you not hear
up.
me?
You broke
That's
up.
so sweet. You broke up like my last girlfriend. Come on. Say it again.
No.
Say hello.
Hey, can everybody hear me?
Yeah,
All right.
I can hear you.
Okay, but let's move on. Jonathan Lewis, how you doing today, man?
Another day, bro. Last day of school for my girl. So went out, did the picnic there. Got a little bit of sun. Can't tell because I'm white and I sat inside all day. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay. The coolest man in the world today, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Waylon. Waylon, how you doing?
I'm above ground.
And the man that does it all, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, sir. How you doing?
What can I say? We're 100 days away from football again. Tomorrow going to be 99 days, double digits. We just stole from Texas A&M, Texas A&M, TM, ATM, I think it is. Eli Holstein, and I can't wait for the shit to start on this one. I am excited for tonight's show.
All right.
And Joey froze up.
Before we get started, let's
There he is.
go ahead and do our dedication. Did I freeze up? Is it me?
Do the dedication, sir.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right.
Dedication.
Shut up.
Click.
My thing ain't working.
Click.
It's doing it.
Tonight's dedication. I am honored to dedicate tonight's show. Well, honor is a very bad word to use at this point, but I want to dedicate tonight's show to all the lives lost, and to the friends, family, the responders, everyone involved in the Rob's Elementary shooting in Texas. It's very heartfelt on this one. Extremely sad moment that the sick individual did this. But tonight, I would like for us to all do a small moment of silence for them. And to all the family members, friends, and everyone involved in the Robb Elementary shooting, God bless you and God be with you.
Where's Joey?
All right, Joey, I don't know how you're going to follow this one up, but anyone have anything that would like to say at this point on the shooting at all before we move on?
Something's got to change.
No,
I agree.
it was
You're
a
right.
horrific. It was a horrific crime, and I really, as a parent of 5 children and a grandchild, I really don't even want to talk about it. It's that
All right.
painful.
Very painful.
Yeah. Where did
Yeah,
Ty go? We're having a bunch of problems tonight.
Terrible.
Very terrible. All right, well, let's get to our main topic tonight then. Our main topic tonight is Eli Holstein.
Oh.
Now we got everybody
Ty,
back.
what happened
There we go.
to you? Ladies and gentlemen, we're having a lot of technical problems today. I don't know what's going on, but as we speak. So everybody, eating. Ty, he was with Texas A&M. Ty has no audio now.
So we'll just
Okay.
Yeah.
So Jonathan,
Yep.
so everybody just look at Ty's beautiful face. That's why he has 12,000 subscribers. Look at that.
Well, he is a pretty man. What can you say?
It's the long hair and the beard.
He's a handsome guy. Yeah.
His
He's
mom
gonna
and
be
dad
watching
did
this,
well.
He's like, man, he's a jackass. Hey, Ty, will you date my wife?
He can't hear us.
Let's see if I can pull out and
Smack
he'll
it.
come in. Let's
They're gonna love it down.
get on the stream.
You
on
gonna
YouTube.
pull out, Waylon?
I'm pull out. Catch y'all later on. See if that'll help anything. Sorry.
All right.
Ty, can you hear us now?
Ty, can you hear us now?
Nope.
This is why I don't like doing live. All right, while Ty's fixing his audio, Jonathan, Eli
Yep.
Holstein. So,
All right,
what's
what do you-
going
what do you
on?
wanna-
Tell us about it.
First of all, most of the people are going to want to talk about the fact that he was a Texas A&M commit, decommitted. Alabama
Yes.
picked him up. Of course, that's going to be the main push with the whole Jimbo versus Saban thing
True.
going on
True.
right now. But when you look at Eli Holstein, I think he was an Alabama commit in the first place. You got audio now, Ty?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. So I'll do a quick little run through and let you hand it over to you, Ty. Talking about Eli Holstein. I just think Eli made sense. Eli Holstein made sense, in my opinion. When you look at the people that recruited him, Bill O'Brien and these guys, it was too perfect of a match to pass up. And I think a lot of people didn't understand why we pulled off of Arch Manning so much at the time. Because when you look at Eli Holstein, number one, a Bill O'Brien offense, you have to have a player that can throw to all 3 levels of the offense, right? So you don't need the strongest arm in the world. You can even look at the Mac Jones and what he did. But what you got to be able to do is be very accurate and short to intermediate, right? And then a good anticipatory thrower on the deep ball, which, as you can see here, I mean, you're going to see he doesn't have the strongest arm, right? But what you're going to see is he puts the ball in the correct place, outside shoulder, things like that. And I just feel like the whole 3-level thing is important. He's not the quickest guy. He's not going to outrun you. He's not going to be considered a dual threat quarterback. But once again, it comes down to his high football IQ, and being coachable. Coachable to me, whenever you hear about Eli Holstein from his coaches, you always heard the kid is coachable. He wants to learn how to be a better quarterback. You know what I mean? So, and I think it's important for a Bill O'Brien offense, plain and simple. So, yeah. Ty?
Yeah, so look, I think that's 100% true. It's 100% accurate. But I think the thing we have to realize is, being Alabama fans, having someone that's great in a Bill O'Brien offense, that's fantastic. But the reality of our situation has tended to be offensive coordinators don't last long.
Yeah.
Right? Because they typically take upgrades. So in saying that, you need to be able to get a quarterback that transcends one system in particular, and you feel comfortable with running variations of different systems. Because let's be honest, we're running Lane's offense, but it's had wrinkles thrown in from Loxley to DeBall to Bob, right? I mean, everybody has put a little wrinkle in. I have a theory about Bill O'Brien's wrinkle. I'll save that for another time. I'd really love to talk to you, Jonathan, about it. But it's really interesting, and I think it would explain some things. I digress. Holstein makes so much sense because he would be able to fit multiple different systems, right? If we look at the different wrinkles that are present in this offense, he satisfies something for everything. And I think, Jonathan, you put it best. He is athletic enough to make you pay with his legs, athletic enough to keep a defense honest. Not that he's going to Lamar Jackson you, but you don't need him to. The threat of his legs will keep a defense honest. And what I like more, he knows when not to run. I know we all got on Bryce last year for not running enough. I'm of the mindset that if you don't have a solid backup option, which last year Alabama didn't, I would rather Bryce not tuck it and run and keep his eyes downfield than put himself in precarious situations. Holstein knows when not to run, and I love that from a kid that age.
Yeah.
Well, agree to disagree. Agree or disagree. I feel that we have two great quarterbacks waiting in the wings. Ty Simpson and Jalen Monroe. I mean, I think these are national championship quarterbacks right here.
Now,
what does it mean for them?
Do you want my honest opinion, or do you want me to be the?
No, I want you. No, Jonathan. I want you to pretend like I want you to tell.
No, I can give you the Kool-Aid answer, or I can give you the honest answer. In my opinion, answer. Jalen Monroe is not a championship-winning quarterback. In my opinion, when you go back and look at him in high school, and when you look at the progression he did make, which was significant from his freshman year, redshirt over, it looked good. It looked like a big improvement. Yes. But the improvement in the gap in him reading a defense and the throws that have to be made is significant. Because when you go look at him throw and look at Ty Simpson throwing, you're going to think Ty Simpson has more experience in the offense. When you go look at the practice film, you're like, wow, Ty Simpson jumps off. Now, Jalen Milroe's big. He's fast. It's all the things that people want to see. But, football IQ is it's not mentioned enough. Understanding how to read the defense, like Ty says, knowing when to get rid of the football. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. It's just, in my opinion, Jalen Monroe is a great quarterback. He reminds me a lot of Blake Sims. Blake Sims, when he moved over to the quarterback position, he did a lot for that offense. He did everything. But was he ever going to win a championship? In my opinion, no. It's the same thing with Jalen Monroe. I think I could be wrong. Who knows? But in my opinion, Ty Simpson was going to be the guy to eventually take over because of the way his football IQ is, man. Like his throws. Like, when I look at a quarterback, he has to be a quarterback first and a runner second. And Jalen Monroe, coming out of high school, was absolutely a runner first. There's no doubt in my mind about that. So, that's my opinion.
What's your take?
Well, this is a lot. I had several takes on a lot of it, but I'm going to start with the last conversation first, and it's going to Jonathan. You're saying that Jalen Monroe, in your opinion, is not a championship quarterback.
I feel like he would not.
You're basing that over his high school film.
No, not just high school. Also, the progression through when you watch him in practice, and you also watch him in the spring.
You don't think he's progressed enough to be a championship quarterback?
No. Yet. That's the key. Yet, because what I'm talking about is if he sits and let's say he waits his time like Mac Jones does, 4 years of waiting, right? Now we're at a whole different ball game. The progression, but I'm talking about right now. If you're telling me he's going to step in and win a championship, absolutely not. Just my opinion.
This year, I will agree with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right now.
Back up, but next year, I'm going to say he's going to be a national championship winning quarterback because I see a different progression in him. I'm seeing him doing better reads. I see him standing, throwing, looking for the throw before he takes off running, even though he's a great runner. But still, what I'm seeing, his progression, he's actually learning how to read defenses. And you give him one more year, I'm going to have to say that he can win us a national championship. And to me, Ty needs at least one more year also.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So Waylon came up with a good question, and I'm going to throw it to Ty Hayes. Will they stay or will they leave? Now, I was watching a lot of Bama Insider, and I was watching a lot of practice film from the Insider. You can catch on YouTube. I'm tell you what, Jonathan from Monroe, I think he's going to be legit. I think he's going to do something. He's tall. He's a runner. He got a forearm. That's what I see. Now, I'm not a quarterback coach. Ty, now you got this kid coming in. There was a lot of people outside Alabama, and a lot of people outside the SEC, and a lot of people outside the NCAA were saying either we get Holstein or we get Manning. Now we got Holstein. We can figure now Manning's going somewhere else. He's going to visit Alabama June 10th, I believe. Now, but we got Holstein. Is Ty Simpson and Monroe going to leave, or are they going to stay?
I don't think there's any reason for them to leave right now, because when you look at it, the job will become available next year, and it's going to be a situation where then they're going to be hedging their bets that they'll be beaten out by a freshman. Even though it's happened, I think that's unlikely. So I think that there's a path to playing. Here's what I'll say on the Jalen Milroe debate, and I have to preface it with I am biased, right? And I'm going to wear the bias, right? I have gotten to speak to, I know the guys who worked with him in high school. So I know like some of the guys he trains with here in Texas. Behind the scenes, man, like these guys have worked with Cade Klubnik. I mean, what they say about Milroe, they say like, hey, his high school film, it is what it is. And he was almost handicapped in high school. I feel for a lot of dual threat quarterbacks in high school because especially in Texas, like in his situation, they don't ever develop the quarterback. They just say, hey, we're more likely to win with you if you just put the team on your back and go, which is exactly what happened with Milroe. And so, too, I both agree and disagree, Jonathan. Like, you're 100% right. The progression has to be made.
Yeah,
There is absolutely zero debate to that. The reading of the defense, one of the things you said that I love, because I say it all the time in my video, you can impress me with film by not making a throw as much as you can impress me by making a throw. And that was my biggest problem with Spencer Rattler. He's got all the arm talent in the world, but then there's the throws you don't want to see. I digress. So, no, I don't think anybody necessarily has to leave. I think that there's a lot of availability, and I think it's a great quarterback room.
Yeah, 100%. I think this could be one of the best ones we've had at Alabama as far as quarterback rooms.
Right.
Come out with Bryce.
So let me ask you this. Now, here's the thing: this kid was committed to Texas A&M. He was in Texas A&M. Jimbo recruited him. He was signed. Jimbo had his picture on his wall. Now he's with Alabama. What is Jimbo's game plan, Spencer? What's he going to do next?
Really don't give a damn. Perfectly honest with you, I don't care. I mean, I just want to go back to our last conversation for a second, if I could, because I think we're asking the wrong question. The question that we're asking is, who are we going to lose? What we need to be asking, will Bama's Eli stay after 2 years of not starting? That's what I think we need to be asking ourselves. Anyway, that's my comment.
Jonathan, well, that's a good question, Jonathan. Let's go to that.
If Eli Holstein would stay 2 years, I think he absolutely would. You know, Eli's coming in. He's not coming into an unknown situation, right? You're looking now at what's been produced at Alabama now I feel like this is the key. You've seen what Alabama has produced in quarterbacks without Lane Kiffin there. Everybody at first was like, Lane Kiffin.
Right.
He's the reason the quarterbacks are doing what they're doing. That's why they're going to the NFL. Steve Sarkisian came in, like Ty Hay said. Ty said, you see the wrinkle in every single playbook. Lincoln, to Steve Sarkisian. And then I hate to bring his name up, but Agiah Hall even mentioned it. He said, hey, we're still running off a Lane Kiffin and a Steve Sarkisian playbook in a sense. And we're still producing NFL talent at the quarterback position. So why would Eli Holstein leave? Like, you're going to not only, you may have to wait a couple of years, but you're going to be able to develop into an actual NFL quarterback, right? And that's not a knock against Texas A&M if we're asking that question as well. What does it mean for Texas A&M? I'll be honest with you. If I'm an unbiased fan here, it means nothing because they got their eyes set on Dante Moore, who's also a very highly touted quarterback. Right. They didn't put themselves, in my opinion, in a situation that Alabama brought themselves into, which was the fans are so tunnel vision on Arch Manning and Eli Holstein. We didn't look at everything else. Texas A&M came in with a vision of, we'll try to bring in Arch Manning, but we're looking at about 5 other quarterbacks, and 3 of them are actually geared towards committing to Texas A&M. So they have a little bit more options, in my opinion, than we had. So that's why I felt like we pulled out of the Arch Manning thing and said, all in on Eli, bring this kid in. We know what we're getting. We're securing our quarterback room now versus later, and we know who else we need to target. Richard Young, please come to Alabama, the running back. You don't know who that is, please go look him up. And yeah, that's just my take from it, in all honesty.
Ty?
Yeah, look, I agree. I as I stated, I don't think that anybody would necessarily have to transfer. Now, one of the things I'm interested in, if I could ask a question, if all 3 guys come in the same day, if Jalen Milroe, Ty Simpson, and Holstein come in on the same day, who wins the starting job out of those 3 in y'all's opinion?
I mean, as is. I mean, honestly, I like Ty Simpson. I mean, I think Monroe is a great quarterback, but Ty Simpson has that. I mean, what I've seen from on the Bama. I mean, I'm not trying to advertise Bama Insider by no means. I mean, watch CTS for your best sports news. Yeah, they do awesome work. I love Bama Insider.
They do fantastic work. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. I mean, they're not as good as Round the Table Sports or College Football with Jonathan Lewis by no means.
The second one's awesome.
Get out of here, bro. Now go ahead, Spencer. What's your take on it then? Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I thought you were done.
No, he ain't done.
No, I mean, he has the form, he has the arm, he seems like he got the playbook down. I mean, what can you go wrong with Ty Simpson?
That's my problem. I don't think he has the playbook down yet. Jalen Milroe, he does have the playbook. To me, he would be my starter if that was my choice between them 3. And obviously, we're going to find out next season. Me personally, I am so pleased because I was a doubter of him at first.
Yep.
But when I saw his progression, how he's taken on and he's learning to read defenses, that tells me immensely. So to me, it'd be Jalen Milroe.
All right. So I'm going to play devil's advocate here. And it's not on purpose. Eli Holstein, it's for one reason. I go back and you watch Tua when he came in the national championship game, right? And what he did all season. People thought that Tua just learned the entire playbook. And I love you talking about learning the playbook because that is a big part of it. But what I love even more is a quarterback that can come in that has exactly what Tua had that's an intangible. Swagger. When you look at Eli Holstein walking on the field, you know who the damn quarterback is. This dude's strutting around. He's making plays, and he's letting you know he's making plays. Tua did the same thing. What Tua did really well that got exposed early on in the NFL is he learned a very small portion of the playbook, but he didn't mess up at all when he made those plays. He owned in on like 15 plays, and good luck stopping those 15 plays because that's what he did all the time.
Offensive line, no, brother. You're forgetting the offensive line he was behind.
No, I trust me. I'm not trying to get into the NFL talk, but I'm talking about like when he was at Alabama. That's what
I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah. So when you look at this as a whole, and Eli Holstein, he's not the quickest guy. I get it, but man, like you want a quarterback with confidence, 100%. And like I said, I love that whole like when I'm on the field, you know, I'm the one in charge type thing. And Eli Holstein presents that. When Mac Jones did it, look what Mac Jones did.
Correct.
It was a whole different breed of quarterback because by the time he started, when he walked on the field, you're like, oh, that's the Alabama quarterback that's strutting around, dancing and pointing at you.
Yep.
I love that from a quarterback. When Eli's already doing that, I'm interested to see what it's going to turn into in the locker room as a true freshman at Alabama. See how he's going to present himself on the practice field. Is he still going to be doing that? So, yeah.
So I asked the question, right? Because
go
I
ahead,
already
Ty.
had my answer. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ty.
What was that, Joey? Oh. So I asked the question because I already had the answer in my head, right? And one of the things when I think about this is if everybody comes in there day one, I want a combination of who do I think has the highest floor, highest ceiling, right? Yep. Like if I put them in, who am I sure isn't going to make the mistakes? I think for me, it'd have to be Eli Holstein. If everybody came in on the same day, and here's why. I think he offers a lot in terms of size, athleticism, and the ability to make all the throws. When you look at his highlights, he's got a really good understanding as a junior of when to put a touch pass out there and when to throw an absolute laser. Something that's not usually figured out at that capacity until you are going into your college year and you really hone in on those fine details. But he's got a really good feeling for it. My worry with Milroe is the production or the projection, right? Coming in, learning. My worry with Ty Simpson is his high school film is sensational. But there's also some things that worry me with Ty Simpson. Like sometimes he had an offensive line that was so bad at his high school that he got so used to having to get out of the pocket. Well, the thing that created is if you look, there are times where he'll have the cleanest pocket in the world, and Ty Simpson will just bail and start running to the Lord knows where. And he's got a little bit of happy feet because of the offense. It's like JT Daniels. You look at JT Daniels' last few games with USC, same thing. No offensive line. The technique breaks down. So I like Eli Holstein because I think he has a lot of what both guys have to offer, and I think he offers it in a package that's really ready now. So, yeah.
Well, I
like
think you just answered William Bryant's question. He said, is Eli good out of the pocket? And he just answered that. Yeah, he's very good out of the pocket.
They're all good out the pocket.
Now, let's get to some controversy. And that's what this show is known for, some controversy. A lot of people think Nick Saban bought this kid to piss off Jimbo.
No, look.
Okay.
Who do you want
Who
do you want to start that conversation? That's
Jonathan. Start Jonathan on this.
Jonathan, go ahead.
Look, I'm not going to play the dumb fan. If you're naive enough to think that these blue blood programs, we'll say the top 40 to 50, not just blue bloods, but top 40 to 50 aren't paying players, then good luck in Disney World or wherever you need to be. All these players are bought to some extent, folks. Let's not pretend like they're not. Let's not be naive enough to think that this is not what's going on. Just because it was illegal before and I had a better bag man than you, that's all. The curtains have been pulled back on that. They're all being bought. They're all being paid. And Jimbo can sit there and claim that NIL has nothing to do with it when we all know it has everything to do with it, because it always has. So it's just a matter of keeping your hands clean and looking like the good guy. Look, you're not on top as long as Alabama is by keeping your hands 100% clean. Neither is Clemson. Neither is Ohio State. Neither is anybody else. Plain and simple. I think that this was not a revenge thing because Eli Holstein, ever since he decommitted from Texas A&M, already had his eyes on Alabama. He had his eyes on Alabama before he even committed to A&M. He already had the visits. So it was already an option. The difference is when A&M brought over Max Johnson, it completely changed the entire scenario of what Texas A&M was going to do with their offense, in my opinion. So I think that was a big factor on it. But go ahead. That's my take on it.
Ty? Go ahead, Ty.
So, yeah, my thing would be, so what if we did?
Exactly.
And if that's the reality we're living in, let's throw around some money. If that's what we're doing, let's throw it around. Because, Jonathan, you're right. Like, one of the beautiful things, I had 2 roommates, right? Now I live with my girlfriend, but before she moved in, I had 2 roommates, both of which played college football. So they both went through the recruiting process. My 2 friends from high school that I didn't live with, they both made it to the NFL. So they went through the recruiting process. Not to mention, for some random reason, one of my roommates had about 4 cousins get recruited by Texas, Oklahoma, like the biggest name schools, right? Just super athletic family. like college football has always had a game behind the game, right?
Yep.
NIL just takes that game, throws spotlights on it, and douses a fire with gasoline, right? You just raise the stakes exponentially because you went from paying players in poker chips so that nothing could be traced to now it doesn't matter. So the stakes have raised, but look, Alabama recruits at a high level. They've been able to do incredible work with quarterbacks. We just saw Mac Jones go in the first round of the NFL draft with 1 year starting. And so what if they paid? Hey, money makes the world go round. Cash rules everything around me.
Yep.
You're too young for that. Well, how do you know anything about that?
Hey, I'm full of surprises.
You surprise me every day. Yeah.
Full of surprises.
Okay, I hear you. So let's get to the garbage time game. We just found out. Jonathan just told me today while he was text messaging me, and he said that Texas A&M and Alabama are going to be at 11 a.m. Central Time.
Alabama and Texas.
Oh, that's good.
I'm sorry, Alabama and Texas.
Yeah, Texas.
Sorry, the good Texas team is going to be at 11 a.m. Central, 12 p.m. Central.
We're playing Baylor?
Why?
Oh, that's a
Good job. Good one. Good
one.
There.
Good one, Ty.
Or
good
that's
one.
off to
Why
you,
does
sir.
everybody
I
hate
help
Texas?
myself.
I don't understand. Why does everybody hate
No,
Texas?
I got nothing. I don't dislike any team. But it was there. I had to do it.
Fuck you, Auburn.
So
I piss on those damn trees.
yes, Fox did make it official today. It wasn't official beforehand. They actually did come out today and said it is official. They're even having a sponsor, by the way, behind the game. So it's not only is it just an 11 a.m. Fox Sports game, it's sponsored by Cheetos or whoever they said it was game, which even downsized it even more. And that's why Texas and Oklahoma is leaving the Big 12. A primetime game at 11 a.m. And that's why they're leaving the Big 12.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I got to say about it.
Yeah. It is.
And poor OU.
I can't believe this.
Genuinely, if you look into how they have done OU in terms of their
Dirty.
primetime breakdown, I would be mad if I was an OU fan. Like that's a program that's had how many winning seasons, and they can't buy a primetime game. They can't buy one. And sometimes I'll sit there and watch a primetime game at night and wonder, why in the world is this on when we just had the Red River shootout at 2:00 in the afternoon and it's 185 degrees in downtown Dallas?
Yeah.
It's miserable.
Hey, everybody look at Spencer's face. Go ahead, Spencer. You had that serious face.
I just got one question on this one. Because the way I was raised in the country and we had a bunch of cattle out there, pigs and all, the best breeding time was at 11 a.m. So obviously they just fucked us. That's all I'm saying.
In case nobody knows, I went today because I'm going to go to the game. I was going to go to the game until I saw the ticket prices today. And if we're not talking about this, let me tell you something, folks. I gave myself a budget. I said, I'm going to go with a friend and I'm not going to spend more than $600. Guess what? Can't do it. Nosebleed tickets are $342. If you want to get anywhere, near the field, it's $950. The front row where I sat at my Texas A&M versus Texas game last year, that only cost my wife bought them for me. She paid, I think, $180 per ticket. Those are $1,180 per ticket.
You're a great man. My wife wouldn't spend $40 for tickets for me. You're a great man, brother.
My wife got me divorce papers. So good job.
For less than that.
Ridiculous. And I live down the road from Austin, by the way, an hour and a half.
Let's get back. So let's get back on this Jimbo Nick Saban. I mean, it's just today with the Eli Holstein signing. It's gotten to the point where you can't but help but think that Nick Saban just, he's out and just did the Nick Saban and said, you know what, Jimbo, you ran your mouth too much. Come here, Eli. Come to daddy.
See,
And
Joe,
y'all, I know y'all. Go ahead, Jonathan.
You're giving Jimbo too much credit. If you think Nick Saban's worrying about Jimbo Fisher and what he's doing, you are out of your mind. I'm telling you, right, Joe. I'm calling you out right now. You're crazy if you think Jimbo or Nick Saban is worried about number one, Jimbo Fisher.
I'm not saying he's worried. I'm not saying he's not.
He's worried about that
worried
NIL
about
collective behind Jimbo Fisher. He's not
And
worried
he buried
about
Jimbo Fisher.
I think it was one of those. It's one of those things where you know what he's not worried about him. He just wanted Jimbo to know who his daddy was.
He doesn't need to know that.
It's,
Jimbo already knows who he is. Who he is. Look at his titles. Look at his record against him. He doesn't need to say nothing. It's not about what you say. It's about what you don't say. I'm telling you.
Go ahead, Ty.
So I think you just said a mouthful. Like when he did that press conference, Jimbo talks about how he never liked Saban, this, that, and the other, which maybe that's true. I'm not Jimbo, and I'm certainly not here to call anybody a liar when I'm not them. That's not my place.
I'm calling him a liar. I've seen Jimbo talk about Nick Saban.
But I did work in law firms, and I am good at building together facts to string a case. The fact of the matter is he has had ample opportunity to speak on Saban, and he has only ever had glowing reviews. Went so far as to wait an hour outside the locker room. And now you are mad? If you were such an individual worried, if Jimbo was so worried about doing something moral or, for the greater good of college football, he wouldn't have continued to work with Saban. He wouldn't have continued to talk highly of Saban. If he was some altruistic individual, he would have said this years ago. But he didn't. He crashed Florida State, had them on sanctions, and then came to A&M and instantly caught sanctions there.
2019.
So that's Jimbo. I don't get Jimbo. He'd be better served just saying, well, I don't know anything about NIL, but we do have the ability to provide great deals for our students in terms of name, image, and likeness. He'd be better served just saying that and leaving it there.
Spencer, what's your thoughts?
Just don't damn matter.
It doesn't.
Nick Saban warned them. Jimbo Fisher had to sit out and wait for a damn hour to even be allowed in the room. So that tells you right there he ain't shit. So, straight up off the get-go, can you smell what Nick Saban has cooking? I'm just telling you right now. He warned everybody he's coming, y'all. Unless the NCAA does something or SEC breaks off, does their own thing, if there ain't no controls, the man's going to go off and take over the damn industry. I'm telling you that right now.
Hey, look, Jimbo Fisher has 2 national championships. So, I think
2.
Yeah, one with LSU and one with Florida State.
Oh, yeah, isn't it? Yeah, as a coordinator, I'm not counting that.
Yeah, but he was head coach at Florida State. So
yeah, at Florida State,
he earned that one, no doubt.
Yeah,
he was under Saban on the other one.
That was he was the time he beat Auburn was like that's why Jimbo. I got close. I have a little, not by. He's still a bitch, but he did beat Auburn.
You give him more credit than me, bro. I'll be honest with you. I've spoken out against Jimbo for years. For years, I've spoken out against Jimbo.
Anytime you put my coach's name in your mouth, I'm gonna talk to you. I'm gonna say something to you. I'm gonna put you in your place. But he did beat Auburn in 2013, 14. Did you didn't watch 33 Wednesday morning?
Well, no.
Did it sound like I did? Did it sound like I? Did you did? Did it sound like I was kissing his ass?
No, when you guys brought on that A&M fan, I was like, yeah, I knew this was going to happen.
Wearing the ATM hat. That's just awesome. That ATM all over it.
But
I let one more Sanchez have it.
I just feel like, I don't try to speak. I don't speak ill will against coaches or players, right? But I will critique you because, number one, I have a YouTube channel, and that's the point. All it is an opinion. I'm not saying I'm right, and I'm not saying I'm wrong. All I'm saying is this is simply my opinion. My opinion of Jimbo Fisher saying he's holier than thou and then gets 2019 gets sanctioned for recruiting, not just his staff. They pinpointed him himself saying, you are doing it. And then he admits he did it. And then turns around and goes into a podium a couple of days ago and says, I've never cheated. I've never done anything, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, you just got caught red-handed in 2019. What you did at Florida State, allowing Jameis Winston to get on the field after those accusations, and you got charged, and it was your assistant who had to come over and say, are you not going to make him get off the field? And then they call you out on the press to say we had to do this?
Thank you.
Bro, keep your mouth shut, dude.
I got a question for Ty. Ty, on 3rd and 3, Preston guy from LSU reporter. Nice guy. I like him a lot. We talk a lot of shit, but I like him. He said, Jimbo Fisher came out there, made these accusations, but didn't exactly say what the accusations were, meaning that if he said something wrong, he could have got sued. So somebody backstage was telling him, hey, look here, you can say this, but don't exactly say this. Because, quite frankly, if Nick Saban's been cheating for the last 15, 16 years in LSU, he's been cheating for all this time, it would have came out by now. I mean, come on. I mean, seriously, people have been threatening Nick Saban since 2010. I remember an agent talking about Nick Saban better keep his mouth shut because if he doesn't, I'm going to release all these secrets. Nothing has been proven yet. Why is it that people are trying to say these lies about Nick Saban but won't go out and say it? Because are they afraid to get sued? Or is it all bullshit?
He'd be implicating himself, wouldn't he?
2 parts.
Yeah, true that.
Okay, 2 parts. First and foremost, yes, he would implicate himself. Secondly, this is much bigger than Nick Saban. This is much bigger than Jimbo Fisher. You're talking about the way the game is played. And by calling out Nick Saban, you're calling out the entire system that not only Nick Saban has adhered to, but how many coaches before Nick Saban? They're all playing the same game. And this didn't start now. This has been going on since before a lot of us were born. They're all playing the same game. So you can't come out and say too much. I would have a hard time believing that he had any PR coaching before he went and did that interview, because if Texas A&M had a PR staff, they need to call me. They can get rid of that whole department. I will do all of their jobs, and you can pay me what you paid them all, because that was piss poor. If they advised him to say any of that, if we really want to get technical, he halfway implicated himself because he tried to say, no, none of our kids have an NIL deal, but then he said only one of our guys has an NIL deal. That guy is still in high school. Technically speaking, that's illegal. So the guy, I mean, he could have misspoke, but that's what I mean when I say nobody prepped him. Or God forbid if they did, they don't need to prep anybody else. It was like watching Amber Heard on the stand. It was painful.
Okay, so Ty, did you watch the KSAT interview he did a day and a half ago? Did you watch the KSAT here in San Antonio?
I believe I did.
6 miles from my house. Okay, you talk about PR. Dude, he has no PR training. Number one, when he went on that KSAT interview and said what he said, and if his PR department was telling him to shut his mouth, and did you hear what he was telling his PR department on the side? He's like, I got this. Shut your mouth. He's like, I want to say what I need to say. And I'm like, bro, that right there tells me one thing. You are playing Nick Saban's. You're playing off your emotions, bro. Why are you getting so emotionally invested in this? People get emotionally invested into something like this when they have one thing. That's one thing to hide, bro. Why are you getting like this when nobody else is talking about it but you? But he's burying himself, in my opinion, at this point. Because, like I said, Nick Saban's now in the back. At the beginning, I called Nick Saban out and I said, dude, you shouldn't have said what you said. But when he backed up and Jimbo lit a fire and went scorched earth on him, everybody's like, well, now you're looking like the bad guy. Who came out of this, you know what I mean, the least amount burned? Probably Dion. Then it's Nick Saban, and now Jimbo. Hell, even Lane Kiffin's jumping on this and telling Jimbo how dumb he is, basically.
Even like, Steve Spurrier.
Steve Spurrier. Yeah, when Steve Spurrier
comes
out.
Yeah, bad. That's bad.
Oh, that's bad.
When he came
what
out.
Happened? He just told the truth. Nick Saban came out, hey, look. And now everybody, Deion Sanders, he's coming out talking about he didn't pay nobody $1 million. Then why wouldn't Nick Saban say that?
Give him that.
No.
Go ahead, Jonathan.
No, my take on this.
So I'm asking the question. Why would
Nick Saban is anybody else? Nick Saban is going to read what he's going to read. He has a team. I'm sure you can speak to this. These coaches in this position to make this much money, I'm assuming Alabama, I'm assuming Texas A&M have lawyers that consult with this guy saying, here's what you can and can't say. This is what will implicate you. This is what can get you in trouble with NIL, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure before he even steps out there and says anything like this. But it just doesn't make sense. Now, the whole Deion for $1 million from Barstool Sports, that's already been debunked, by the way. Barstool Sports pulled out of Deion's contract 2 months prior to getting Hunter. So that's why Nick Saban, when he came out and apologized, I said this. He didn't apologize to Jimbo Fisher. He apologized to Deion Sanders, and that's why Deion came on the next day and said, I'm not mad at what Nick Saban said. It's because I didn't know who he was speaking to, which tells me one thing. All the coaches do it.
And if I may,
let him.
Because
go ahead.
Deion and Nick, I'm assuming, have a level of understanding with one another. One thing we have to remember is that isn't Nick on the committee for trying to place more minority coaches into positions of power within college football?
Yes.
Okay. His statements on Deion are larger than just football. Whether we choose to acknowledge that or not, there's a reality behind that. If there isn't 100% truth behind that statement, an apology is owed. And that's why Nick Saban realized it probably the second he said it. Because Deion said, hey, I've already heard from Saban. They probably called each other, talked it out, and Saban told them, I probably shouldn't have said it. This is why I said it. And Deion even said the next day on the interview, Saban wasn't talking to me. Saban was talking to his boosters trying to get those guys. Because Deion got it, right? Deion got the overarching point, and Saban got why that rhetoric could have been harmful. So they both understood the real meat. And that's why you saw that relationship go forward. Jimbo doesn't understand the meat.
Nope.
But if I may, one of the things you said that's so interesting, when I did debate, I would sit there and talk to people. I would sit there in the round and go, and I would make these arguments, and I'd watch the opponents. And the second I saw them stiffen up, that's when I knew I can get you emotional. I'm going to hammer on whatever point I'm going on to the point where you come up here and you lose all semblance of reason. Easy.
Well, all right, so this is how we're going to close it out. So y'all, Ty's just like, hey, okay, so you start talking, and Ty's like, let me tell you something else.
You're on a bit of a delay.
Your wife knows the snap, I promise you.
So we got a couple. I want to go ahead and end this. I'm going to go ahead and do a little, tell y'all about some changes going to happen to CTS. You've been noticing Jonathan and Ty Hayes has been on the CTS last two weeks. The reason why they're going to come on board, help us out, and be part of the team. So with that said, I don't know what this means, how we're going to do things with Spencer and Waylon. Waylon and Spencer has talked that they want to go be back behind the scenes, and which I don't like because I like Spencer and I like Waylon being on here. And anybody that watches Waylon is like the coolest guy ever. But Ty Hayes, Jonathan's been doing work with us behind the scenes. He's basically my supervisor. I got a supervisor because Jonathan tells me what to do. I do it.
Thank you,
he
sir.
tells me to.
No, of course.
So, bite me. So Jonathan is look at Spencer. Spencer's like, yeah, I'll bite you. Or no, don't do that.
One thing I bite. If you're that, I'm sorry.
All right, so Jonathan has pretty much been helping me behind the scenes, telling me how to do things, and Ty Hayes is bringing that wisdom and knowledge, not only from how to run a YouTube page, but how to talk about sports. And so, as of right now, I think we've talked more about it off air. Ty Hayes and Jonathan Lewis is going to be the new host of Bama Smoke, along with me. And another thing I want to talk about is the call-in show. Right now, we are going to start doing a call-in show. We're on the works right now. It's very, very soon. Next week, we're going to do a call-in show. And Spencer, why are you laughing?
because you ain't got the karaoke host in there to hook your system up yet.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so honestly, that brings me up to a thank you to Spencer and Waylon. Went out there and bought the sound system, this soundboard, and it's my job to hook it up. And we've been hooking it up for hours, and we've been going crazy with it. But with that said, isn't the making, but enough talking about CTS today. I want y'all to do me a favor. Go subscribe, not only to our channel and watch 3rd and 3. It's a very good show we have with One More Sanchez and Preston Guy from LSU. But also go to College Football with Jonathan Lewis. Go there, subscribe. That's where I get most of my material. That's where I get knowledge. And I've already said thousands of times, and another place I go to is Around the Table Sports with Ty Hayes. It's a 10-time better channel than CTS is, but however, I that that'll be the last. But if you want the best college sports news, you got to go to College Football with Jonathan Lewis and Around the Table Sports, and then you come to CTS because they won't be here too. If you're fans of Ty Hayes and you're friends of Jonathan Lewis, come to CTS, be here, and that's it. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be out. And remember, win or lose, Auburn football players will pat their each other.
Hold up. Before you
have a
stop
good-
it,
What
before
the
you
fuck?
go out now, I got to make sure I understand this correctly. That both of these young, good-looking gentlemen here, they're willing to come on another show that features them for people to call in and debunk what they're saying. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah,
Yes.
you can call in and say whatever.
And okay, so
I'm gonna
y'all
tell you
have
this right here.
y'all have
And
no
wait-
problem debating. You have no problem debating.
When you
No,
call
absolutely.
in, be ready.
Yeah,
Ah,
exactly.
You know I will.
Exactly.
I'm
You
ready.
better have a
William
notepad.
Bryant. William Bryant, yes. Spencer's still going to do the military and
Yes.
thing. So don't worry. That's never going to lead to CTS. But back to what possibly next week is I don't know what happened to Roll Tide Rise Up. He just vanished.
He's working. He's
we
a
gotta
working
give him-
man.
He's working. So next week it's going to be Spencer doing the military, the first responders, but Ty, myself, and Jonathan. And with that said, for the second time, win or lose, Auburn football players will slap each other on the ass. And we are out.